Well, the weather for the whole of the south of England will continue as it has for the next few weeks. It's going to be hot and moist, with temperatures rising steadily as time goes on. There's a chance of steamy moments as we move into the... sod it. We never wanted to do this. We never wanted to be weathermen and women making innuendos about hot atmospheres and drizzly countries. We didn't want to be child-friendly. We didn't want to bang on about being for over 18s only. We want to talk about our sexy adventures. We want to be lifestylers, leaping from bush to bush as we sail down the rivers of British sex clubs and mountains of crazy experiences. The cheeky purple mamba, the liquid silk pumped liberally into our hand, the rodeo classic brief harness complete with Tantus curve, the Enjoy Pure One stainless steel dildo, the hot octopus digit, the ever so short messages on Fab Swingers, the sexy friends on Twitter, and the mighty vanilla alternative. With my best girlie by my side, we'd swing, swing, swing.
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. And talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well, cause it's bed hopping time.
Welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name's Mr. H.
And mine is Mrs. H.
This is episode 145. We're releasing this episode on Christmas Day. So if you celebrate Christmas...
Happy Christmas.
Well done.
Thank
Jingle
you.
fucking bells.
Which means I have said, my name is Mrs. H 145 times now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've said it more than that. In fact, trying to record this episode
I've said it 100 times.
fucking dog's dinner. So, hopefully we can bring you some Christmas cheer as we've been stressing out about trying to re-record and get this right. And believe it or not, sometimes we do take a level of care in what we're producing.
I had no value, apparently. I just turn up and hide.
Yeah, and everyone loves you for it. But that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm not bitter at all about that. So we want to say, before we go into all of this episode, a huge thank you for everyone that's got in touch with us to talk about our last episode.
It was a spicy one.
It's a spicy one. Lots of people really happy that we were really happy and that we've been chatting through our stuff, working it out, and things have been going well.
And we actually did something right.
Yes, we did something very right, and it went very well.
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. And that was always, that was really good to hear. And
it was lovely.
People have been enjoying, particularly the question that you asked right at the end, that infuriated me
you.
because I was just shutting down the podcast and then you threw it in there.
Never underestimate my ability to come in at the last minute with something gargantuan and amazing.
Gargantuan. Okay.
It's a great word.
Extending my editing period for another hour.
You're welcome.
Thank you, wife. Thank you that very much.
Adding value. All year round.
Before we go much further into stuff, don't forget we've got the Red Hot Party on the 25th of February.
How could we forget?
Well, we can't forget, but you, gentle listener, may have forgotten to.
I can't forget because the bloody Discord is lit up like a Christmas tree constantly.
It's fantastic. There's been loads of really great conversations.
There's been some very, very exciting conversations on there lately.
Well, I think there's been a lot of random discussions about random things, and it sort of sprawls all the gamut from sexy to philosophical to everything in between.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many steps in between, but all of those steps it has covered throughout the course of it. So if you want to be part of that Discord, all you need to do is get your tickets. And to get your tickets, follow the links on our show.
Yes.
And you can come along and join us. Now, we have sold out of single guy tickets, as we mentioned the other week.
We have, and we're selling out of rooms quite rapidly as well. There are a few left, but not too many.
Well, by the time this comes out, there may not be any. So
this is very true.
But
there will be some tickets left, but you might have to go to a different hotel.
What I would say is that if you've forgotten to give your partner a Christmas gift, this could be the perfect solution for you.
What, you mean they're going and you're not? Happy Christmas.
Well, you could get them a nice gift to our wonderful
Yeah,
party. And we know it's going to be wonderful because we recently held a mini Christmas social event
Yes, we did.
in our local town,
Yes, it was
and
great.
invited some 40-odd friends and previous attendees to our previous parties. Previous attendees to our previous party, makes sense. And had an absolute blast. It was really cool.
So good.
Everyone was packed in there.
Yeah. No one was Whamageddoned.
No one was Whamageddoned by me. They may have been Whamageddoned.
I still haven't been Whamageddoned.
I have been.
I know.
Somebody played it at a work conference. That sucked.
I haven't. Still haven't had it.
Well, that's fine. Glad you're all right, Jack. I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to set my alarm to it in the morning so you can hear
Wow,
it.
that's me.
Wham, that's me. And you're more like,
Wow.
anyways, we had a really nice time at the
Yes,
social.
we
It was
did.
lovely to see everybody. Really nice to catch up. We got some lovely presents. And it's very humbling, with the way that everyone comes along. They're so grateful. We're so grateful for everybody else. It's so, fantastic times, which is good. So, if the mini Christmas social event can be amazing, I can only imagine how good the 25th of Feb is going to be at the Penthouse Playrooms Red Hot Party. It's going to kick off. It's going to be fantastic in a good way.
Yeah.
So get your tickets soon. Don't forget to buy them for Christmas for people. It's not too late. It might be Christmas Day, but you might not be seeing your partner for at least another couple of hours. So you could still get one in.
Giggity.
Giggity. So what's this episode all about?
Wow.
I half expected you to chirp in with a song. What's it all about, Alfie, knowing you?
Oh, that's a great song. I am not going to sing for you.
Okay, good.
No, not this time.
I'm glad. So we're going to reflect a little bit on the year, just touch on some of the high points.
Yes.
And then we're going to talk about our hopes, dreams, wishes for next year.
All right, Jeff Goldblum.
Wishes. Oh, my. So, Mrs.
Wait, he might well be on my list for next year.
He could well be on your list. Let us hope that he
I don't
continues.
think he knows that.
Does he not?
I'll reach out and ask him.
Well, literally, is he around the corner?
Him and Louis through. I'm coming for you.
Oh, fucking hell. All right.
Double team you.
Good. You're gonna double team them.
Yes. Decided.
With whom?
Myself. No, they're going to be a double team with just me.
So they're going to team
that's
you.
a three-way. They could double team me. Again, they don't know it yet.
There's a lot of math going on here. If you're picturing the John C. Reilly gif of him trying to work out some sort of mathematical
That's my
equation,
face right now.
that is Mrs. H's face right now. So, Mrs. H, let's talk about some of the highlights of 2022. I'm going to go first with one, and then we can just keep bouncing between us in a really fun and comedic, energetic way, right?
Okay.
So my first highlight of the year was earlier on.
It's me.
It's
always me.
No, you are not the highlight of my year. You are the highlight of my life. You win everything by default.
Yes.
There we go. But the highlight of this year, one of my highlights, and this is in no particular order, was PCAP. I thought this was a fantastic event. It was really nice to do a bit of presenting. And by that, I mean not just standing there with my cock in my hand, and give people some lowdown around swinging in the UK, give a bit of Bedhofer's flavour to the event.
Yeah.
It was exceptionally well run. So if you get the chance to go to any of the PCAP events or the Libertine events.
They are Libertine, yes.
I would highly recommend you get your tickets.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been so hot in my entire life.
Oh, my God.
But I don't think I've ever seen so many hot people in my entire life. So it kind of balanced it out a little bit.
Yes, it was hot. Hot in many ways.
Oh, you're adding that much value now?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, right. Great.
Always.
Come on then. What's one of yours?
Well, Palm Springs was definitely one of them.
Yep.
Right. One of my highlights is the multiple events that we've held over this year. It's not in any kind of humble brag way. It's more of I'm just so happy that we managed to hold 4 events this year, 2 of which were socials and 2 were play events.
Yep.
And how big our community has grown as a result of that.
Yeah, I'd agree, because we did our first event last year.
Yeah.
On September the 11th.
Yes.
Sorry
and that
about
was
the date,
just a
folks.
social event.
And that was just a social event.
Yeah.
And then subsequently we held a social event, Social 2.0.
In February.
Yeah. Then we held the Come Together event.
Oh, at VA.
At VA.
Which was very, very good.
Very, very sexy event.
It was very sexy.
Then we held which one was this?
Le Boudoir.
But what was it called?
Oh,
Night of the Glitz.
Called Night of the Glitz.
It was the Night at the Glitz.
This is like a memory test.
This is a memory test. And finally there was the mini Christmas social.
Yes, exactly. So we've held 4 events over the year, and they've all been really different, to each other, but they've all been amazing. And we've had a core group of the same people manage to come to most of the events.
Mostly me. I've been to all of them.
You have been to all of them, which is amazing to have the same group of people who want to come back in again and again, because they've made such a great, community of friends there.
Every event adds some new people to the group, and I love that.
Everyone has new people, which is also great because the community is continuing to grow, and that's really exciting to me that we've got such an amazing group of people who are really excited to come to all these events, and we get to see them every time, and we get to put on this amazing kind of event for people and see people really, really happy.
Yeah, I agree. It also means that I've got way more Discord
And way too
admin to
many
do.
weird outfits.
Maybe, but I think, I might need to have a few more for next year.
You really don't.
There's definitely a need to up the ante on the events. So another one of my highlights of the year was actually the VA Halloween party.
Oh,
And the reason I say, I appreciate that we had a bit of a hiccup in the middle of that, but as an event, as our first Halloween thing in the lifestyle, despite having done this for a number of years now, it was really exciting to do something a bit different, to get dressed up with lots of people, especially with a group that we know. And I know we did sort of PCAP and there was lots of dressing up and stuff involved in that, but we didn't know all those people before we went. So this time it was like our gang, our people, going along to an event and just absolutely rocking it. And to be fair, we had a fucking sexy room as well with loads of awesome people in it. And that was just a massive highlight for me.
Yeah, and we didn't have to stress about putting the event on ourselves.
No, and that was even better in that we didn't have to organise a sausage on that one.
It was great.
It was nice to be able to relax and settle into the event as ourselves.
Yeah, that was really nice.
And without all of the sort of hosting duties and stuff that goes with it. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. What about you?
Okay. Another highlight for me was the fact that we've been able to tackle some fairly, not major issues, but issues that have cropped up throughout the course of this year together. And, I think that's inevitable for any couple, that you go through some bumps in the road here and there. But what I like is the fact that we've been able to approach that with each other and talk about them properly and use them for good things, like use them to maybe grow as a relationship.
Yeah, I think that's true. And also share them with you, gentle listener.
Yeah.
So you get to hear our trials and tribulations. And it's always difficult because I sometimes struggle to go through so much of the stuff that share so much of the stuff that we go through, because as much as it's good talking about it and going through it, we're sharing some very intimate details of our lives. But we've always said that we want to be genuine and honest and share the crappy stuff along with the awesome stuff. So
yeah, it's really important that we acknowledge the crappy stuff when it happens, because it's going to happen, but it's how you deal with it, I think. And I'm really proud of us, I think, for navigating that and, being close to another, really. We may have been a bit annoyed at the time, but we've come out of it stronger, I think, each time. And
the plot to murder each other is only simmered away in the background lightly, which is really nice. I think one of my highlights, and I've got to say, is the amount of visitors. Like, visitors are good, but the amount of wonderful people that have come along and seen us this year is just incredible. From people that just come and sort of stay fairly regularly to the people that have crossed countries to spend some quality time with us, and Kate and Daryl, for example, and the XXX Files, and some other folks have visited as well. And it's been really good to sort of develop those relationships and also really just take them around and show them some of the local stuff that we really like and we enjoy. Not necessarily in a lifestyle way, but of course there is some of that, but actually just sharing in our local area.
Our life, a bit.
And I know some people will be rolling their eyes at the delightful, exciting heights of Southampton, for example. But to be fair, we've done our very best to find the nicest places to go and the places that we really enjoy. And to take our friends there is just a real treat for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Any more, dear?
No, I think I kind of rounded up there because I didn't want this to be a, hey, how great is my year? And it has been great. But those are the ones that have really stood out for me.
I think there's one more I want to mention, because it would be remiss of me not to mention this one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What's this about? I think one of the great joys of the year, and it's not often that I want to single people out, although we do mention them a lot. It's actually been developing a really wonderful relationship with Secret Stag and Secret Vixen. And I think, that started sort of last year before, whatever. But what I've really enjoyed is the friendship and the support and the interactions that we've had. And, when things have been shit, like when we've been trying to figure out your health and they've been there for us. So, I want to especially call them out. And also the extended Bed Hoppers family, the people that, hang around with us and are on our Discords all the time and come to our events. They've been as awesome. So I think I just wanted to reflect that actually, it wasn't that long ago when these people weren't in our lives, and now I don't think there's a day that goes by without us at least slinging a meme or a text or whatever at each other, and I'm really thankful for that.
Feel a bit like a constant that you can always fall back on, and I hope we're the same to them.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to the inevitable divorce conversation that they've sort of been working on for the last 6 months. But no, I agree. I think, there are lots of people in our lives, and I feel very fortunate that prop us up, that support us, but also celebrate the good times with us. Yeah. And they've been particularly notable for that.
I agree.
I wanted to mention that. So moving on to next year, right?
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah. Well, we've got...
Move on to next year.
Next year. Thanks, everyone, for last year. Let's talk about next year. Now, I've got a few questions for you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We can answer them together. Don't worry. It's not like a test. So there's no points for these questions.
Oh.
What is the capital...
Now, geography is not my strong point.
I know it's not your...
Or maths.
Or math. Or direction. Which is the same as geography, pretty much.
Well, I guess it is. I always thought geography was cool stuff like volcanoes and earthquakes.
And tourism.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It was when I did it. Anyways, my first question to you, Mrs. H.
Yeah.
What trips and activities are you looking forward to next year?
Well, it's geography again, right?
Well,
This is a test of my location
back to tourism
skills.
Again. Go on then.
If
you can remember them
will I
all.
need a sat nav for them?
Possibly. I hope not.
We have a few on the cards, and I think one of the big ones that I'm looking forward to, because it's so bloody far away, is going to be going to another Podcastapalooza.
Another one.
Another one.
Oh.
And this one's in October, isn't it? And it's in Miami.
That's right. So we have booked tickets.
Did I pass the test?
Yes, pretty much.
Thank God. We booked tickets, so we must be going.
Yeah, we've definitely booked tickets. We haven't got flights yet, but that'll come in the new year, one hopes. But I think that I'm really excited about that. Now, we're not going as hosts. We're just going as guests this time.
We're just going to have a good time.
We're going to, fuck doing work.
Not that you don't have a good time as a host, but actually it's going to be really nice just to go and be able to do what we want and not worry about anything. So.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it won't be any different for you whatsoever, because the amount of effort that you put into learning your presentation was minimal.
I didn't know I had to learn it.
Yeah, well, you absolute lying wench.
I think spontaneity is better.
Not when it comes to presentations, it's not. So
I don't like presentations.
No, I know you don't. That's why you hid away from it. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to going there, enjoying myself, not having to worry about doing my part of the presentation, and just really kicking back and getting to see some of those people again. I think that's going to be really, really fantastic.
I'm going to ask Kate if I can do a presentation now, just to spite you.
Oh, good.
When I'm there. I'm going to do my own presentation just so you can be death by PowerPoint in Miami.
This. I've never seen you actually use PowerPoint.
I don't use PowerPoint. I don't see the point of it.
There we go.
PowerPoint of it. No, I don't. I just don't like it.
Moving swiftly onwards. I'm really looking forward to the Red Hot party on the 25th of February.
Is that because you're going?
It's because I'm booked to go.
And you're red hot?
And apparently, I think Penthouse Playrooms was one of, I should have mentioned it in one of the highlights of the year.
You can mention it now.
I can mention it now. So I really enjoyed our visit there, despite the hiccup that occurred. As a venue, I thought it was really fun. It was a bit different. It's not the same as VA and Boudoir and other places that we recommend. I know that sounds silly, but some people expect all sex clubs to be the same. And this really isn't.
No.
And it felt like a much more fun environment, and it has lots of little rooms.
It's the Wendy house,
It's the Wendy house, the VIP room or whatever you want to call it. So all of this stuff, I think, I'm really excited to share this venue with all these people that are coming along.
Fill it with all our amazing people.
Yeah, and really the Discord itself at the moment, as you said, Mrs. H, is really popping along, and people really seem to be getting to grips with, the whole process. And I'm really, really excited to kind of meet some of the new people, because we've got quite a few new people.
Yeah, definitely.
But also catch up with some of the people that we've known for a while. So yeah, I can't wait for it, and I can't wait to go and buy a new outfit in the new year, frankly.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You don't need a new outfit. You've got tons of shit you can wear.
Tons of shit, eh? But what other activities? what else are we doing?
Oh my God, I'm turning 50.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my fucking God, I'm turning 50.
Yep.
In less than a year.
Yep.
In 269 days or something silly.
Now, you have committed to our friend group that you're just going to turn to dust when that happens. I don't think that's going to happen.
We don't know.
Well, it seems
I just
very
assume
unlikely.
that I'll just expire when I get to 50.
I've seen you perspire going up the stairs.
So I'm living my best life now. And then on the day when I turn 50, it's just all going to go poof, done.
Okay.
And Secret Vixen has already devised a number of ways that we can turn my remains into exciting things like glass dildos.
So, yeah, we'll eBay those off, get some money at the end of the year.
I think so far she's going to turn me into a ring, a glass dildo, and a piece of jewellery. No, another piece of jewellery.
Do I need to take back my sentimental statement about them being wonderful people? I mean, is that where we need
she's
to
got
go?
my back. We had a discussion about it. It's all
Literally, as a table.
100%. I'm down for that. It's all good.
Okay.
Do what she likes.
So
and a tattoo. I'm going to be put into a tattoo.
You're going to be put into a tattoo.
You can put it into tattoo ink.
Okay,
You can put me into tattoo ink.
That's just strange, but I'm not yucking someone's yum, but that is kind of weird.
It's all good.
However,
I'm good with it.
so what are you doing to celebrate being 50?
Hopefully not expiring.
No.
What am I doing? Well, Miss Rach, I don't know.
Well,
I
that's
genuinely don't know at this stage.
Do you want a big party?
I am wildly conflicted about really not wanting to turn 50, but at the same time, kind of a bit excited at the fact that I will have achieved half a century.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like I need to mark it and be, go big. Right?
Yeah. Or home.
Yeah, because it should be celebrated. I've had 50 years and more or less half of those were spent with you. So that's amazing. I love that.
I'm so sorry. So fucking sorry.
No, it's great. I am excited, but I'm also really cognizant that is right. 50 is middle age, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you want to look at it. And age is just a number. I get that. So I'm equally excited and terrified.
Well, I think there's lots of exciting stuff that we can do. I know that you'll want to go to some theme parks next year.
Oh my God, yes, I do. But not because I'm 50.
No,
but because I just want to go there.
You love going theme parks.
I love them, they're great.
But I think you'll use the 50 as an excuse to do some of that stuff.
Maybe I should just do 50 cool things.
Maybe you should. I would like to...
Have you got any ideas for it?
I've got lots of ideas for your 50th. I think it's
cool.
I think we probably need to sit down and kind of work through what you want to do, where you want to go, who you want to go there with, and just see what's within the realms of possibility. And I suspect it'll end up being a most of the year, or at least 6 month celebration of you hitting that milestone.
Yeah, why not?
Well, you might as well, like you say, go big or go home with that.
So you're saying Louis Theroux is not on the list?
Well, have you reached out to him yet?
No.
There we
I
go
thought
then.
it could be a really cool present from you.
Really cool present. Kidnap him. Yeah, that's... Yeah.
No, he needs to come willingly.
Oh, does he?
Yes, he does. I'm kind of looking forward to it because I want to mark the occasion. I want to do it with lots of cool people that I know and love. Okay. And I think that's the bit I am looking forward to because I know there's a whole bunch of people out there who, can't believe I'm going to be 50. And, that's great that they tell me all the time, but, oh my God, I can't believe you're going to be 50. And I'm like, right. Maybe they're just saying it to humour me. But also, I can't wait to celebrate that with them because I know people will universally make me feel good about that.
Yeah.
So I want to feel good about it. I really do. So I'm looking forward to it in a way, in quite a big way, I think.
I think one of the things that we need to do for your 50th is take you to Butlins because I know
off.
that Secret Stag is desperate to show you the highlights.
I know he is. I know. And do you know what? It might be really cool with a great bunch of people. I'm committed to that because I know I'll have a good time, but also I'm really terrified of Butlins.
Well, let's move swiftly away from this question
please.
then. Okay, the next question. Is there anything on the fucket list that you want to achieve next year?
Before I'm 50?
Well, the year runs beyond you being 50 at certain points.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, you'll be older than 50 at that point.
No one will want to have anything with me then.
Of course they will.
That's my big worry. What if I get to 50 and everyone's like, no.
Why is that going to happen?
Because they might go 50. I don't want to. I don't know.
Well, it's not happened yet.
Okay.
Okay, so I wouldn't worry your little cotton socks about it, to be fair.
Okay. The fucket list.
Yes, the fucket list for 2023.
Okay, do we need one?
Well, is there anything that you'd like to achieve next year?
Oh, gosh. Well, I think I want to get better with you at navigating bumps in the road.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had a few of those and it would be good to you're good not to have any. But, they're not, I suppose sometimes they're things that we can work through, but I just want to make sure that we're okay.
So your sexy fuck it list is to not argue with me.
Yes. It's sexy as fuck, right?
I understand the sentiment and I get that. I think, this is always an ongoing conversation about how is it going with us and what could we do better? And I think sometimes it goes really well. In fact, most of the time it goes really well. But the last, I think, couple of things that we've done haven't been quite so easy. And I think that's probably very up and front in our mind. So I can understand why it's important to get it right. And I absolutely agree. We need to be making sure that we're on the same page. And I think that's probably something that rings true of everything that we do, though.
Yeah. So what I think is before we add any more things into the dynamic that we have, I want to make sure that we're solid.
Okay.
That's all. So there's no good me saying, oh, yeah, well, I would really like a 20-woman gangbang. And you being like, well, that's not really something I think we can accommodate because, I just want to be cognizant that we need to make sure that we're good.
Okay. So you're really not answering the question at all then?
No, I know.
This sounds like the most bullshit answer. I appreciate that the sentiment is good, but in terms of in your fucket list, what would you like to achieve next year? It's an open question. So you don't want to do anything naughty? You don't want to do it like an orgy or something? You don't want...
See, I'm not like, I don't really need a big orgy in my life.
Okay.
I'm a bit more of a fan, I think, of a slightly smaller, intimate gathering. I wouldn't, for example, want to go into like a 40-person orgy. Mm-hmm. That actually terrifies me.
Yeah.
I really don't want that.
Okay.
Scale of things. If I'm being genuinely honest, and yes, I would probably seek more female interaction because I love that.
Yeah.
And that's probably where my excitement level is at its highest, I would say.
Okay.
That's not to say I don't enjoy couple encounters, because I do, but I always seem to find them, they pique my arousal more.
Okay.
So for example, the threesomes I have with you, they're always my favourite kind of scenario, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could
more
say
ladies.
More ladies or more threesomes.
Did, more ladies.
Well, it took a long way to get there. Anything else?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'll give it some thought while you're talking. I might find some ideas bounce off what you're saying.
Oh, really? I was totally relying on what you were going to say.
Shit.
No, I genuinely, I think for me, I agree that, it's important that we're on the same page, and I don't want to dismiss that, but at the same point, it's not really answering the question. So in the grand scheme of kind of stuff that I like, again, the room, for example, that we had at VA, if we could have made that probably work a little bit better for us, that would have been... Yeah,
that's a great
that's like a good number of people, like 11, 13 sort of people. Yeah. That feels busy without being, although, at the time, all issues aside. Too much
stimulus that you can't figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with a group of people that, were...
and trust.
Know and trust.
Yeah.
And I still want more of those scenarios. And, we did a little bit of that as well. In fact, a really hot version of that in the boudoir.
The boudoir. That was a really fun.
And that was seamless.
Yes, it was. You're right.
So, I think... I probably should have mentioned that as a highlight of the year, but there's only so many things one can recall at any one point. So I think some more of that stuff would be really cool. I really enjoy that. I've really enjoyed the threesomes, and I think those have been really good fun. But and as much as I want more of them, the difficulty is just arranging them and sorting them out and finding the right people. And I think we were very fortunate in that we had a few circumstances that aligned the moons for us.
I would agree.
So, some of it may be just sort of looking at those opportunities and doing that. And really, I think part of me, it's not so much a bucket list item, but it's more about a self-development thing. It's just sort of just trying to make sure I go with the flow, but also not get bothered about stuff. It's the same thing, I suppose, not be so bothered about it. But I think I would say that we both probably need to get into that space, because the thing is, it always seems to be one of us that's in that space and not the other. And that's what tends to be one of the issues. So I think it's kind of just chilling out a bit and letting things go in the moment. And it might be that we need to talk about those things afterwards, but at the time, just kind of, unless there's something seriously wrong that needs to happen as a result of it.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Which kind of leads me into is question 3. Is there anything that we should work on?
Yes.
My abs. I should get abs
I hope
of
you're
steel.
not talking to me, because I don't have any.
I'm going to draw them on.
Oh yes, if you can do that. You can get like spray tans that spray abs on, or give you contouring to give you defined stomach muscles.
So you look great until you get into the hot tub, and then your 6-pack floats away with your tan.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's always things you can work on because actually I think we constantly, in everything we do anyway, in everyday life, you're constantly striving, aren't you, to be better and to be a better version of yourself each time because, you should. It's continuous improvement. It's a nice big loop. And if you don't care anymore and you don't want to make anything better, then actually that's a bit blinkered to me. I constantly do think I could be better at something or my technique at communicating could be better. And I want to keep evolving that and making it stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's fair to say there's definitely things we could do better. And whether that be getting better at, being emotionally aware of each other's mindset sometimes and reading the room a bit more and just being more attuned to how we're both feeling in the moment. Those sort of things you shouldn't take for granted anyway. I think even if you think you're great at them, I think you can always keep on making sure that you're good at that. And is there anything more I could do to make my partner understand that I'm kind of like, I have his back, the back.
A lot of back action going on here.
Oh.
Maybe some backhanded compliments coming in at some point as well. No doubt. No, I understand that. I think, it is important that we continue to kind of keep chatting this stuff through and making sure that we're both on the same page or as on the same page as we can be. I think there is also, and this, I've mentioned this before in the show, it's that level of honesty about what we want because it's important to put that out there. And you were sort of saying, well, it's no point me saying I'd like some sort of lady action when it's not going to be possible. I would much rather a level of honesty where we do say, this is what we'd like and talk about it. And even if it's a case of can't we do it, we can explore why can't we do it. And it may be that there are ways for these things to happen within a caveated sort of way. It was really interesting actually because we were having a conversation, I think, on Friday or Saturday night, and actually you mentioned that you were going to play with somebody or that you were interested in playing with somebody, and I said, well, actually I'm not comfortable with that particular person, and we haven't had the conversation about any of that stuff.
Okay,
you're trying to think of it now.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Well, let's just say that we were talking about someone that was visiting, and you said that you would play with them, and my take was like, in that situation I wouldn't be comfortable.
Yes, I understand that now.
So, but I think it's important to have the conversation about, well, actually, why am I not comfortable? What is the situation in which that could work? Because there are probably ways around that, and there are probably ways in which we can enable that thing to happen, but without having that discussion. But I also recognise that you're very good if you think that I'm not into something, you will run away from it and never mention it again.
Yeah, no, you're right. I knee-jerk probably into thinking, well, I'm just going to take it off the table then and not even entertain it and explore it as a concept rather than bring it up and say, well, let's just explore it.
Which makes it even worse when it gets brought up in other conversation. Yeah. You're like, well, I'd like to do this. And I'm like, well, I'm not a monster. It's not that I'm like absolutely saying no on stuff, but we've not had a conversation about how it could work and how I'd get my head around it or how you'd get your head around it. So I think the part of it is around a level of honesty and openness around what we want to do and what works for us. And some of the stuff may be stuff that just you want to do, or it may be stuff that I want to do, or it may be things that we want to do as a couple.
I get you.
So I think that's something really important to consider. So next question, right?
Yes.
Where do you see things evolving next?
With us?
Yeah, with us.
Oh, gosh.
What's going to change? What's going to grow? What's going to move along nicely?
I think we're really good at what we do. I really do. I think we work well as a team.
I'm amazing at collecting Transformers and playing video games.
Yes, well, one of those things can stay. We are good as a team, and I love that we have the ability to just always get each other and know what we need to do to make things right. And I think that's already in a really good space because I know you're like the center of my universe. I can't imagine not ever wanting to kind of talk to you and make things right.
Yeah.
So, and I don't see this ending. I like what we do. I hope it doesn't want to anyway. That being said, if you ever wanted to walk away, we always said that we would just, that's fine.
I think we both have the ability, the capacity to pull the plug if we want to, I think.
Yeah.
But I at the moment, this all seems like too much fun and enjoyment, and in combination, to be fair, and because the lifestyle for me has become very entwined with the podcast and the events, I suppose, which are an extension of the podcast in many ways. And I think I absolutely adore the adventures and the friends that we've made and the sexy times that we have with them and that we get to share.
I wouldn't want to lose any of them.
No, I wouldn't want to lose that. And I wouldn't want to lose the show because that's enabled us to meet so many wonderful people, been able to share our experiences, and people tell us that it helps, which is amazing and very humbling. And the events are, again, an extension of that. I think, bringing people together is, let's go back. I remember when we started, we went to an event or a number of events, like a social thing that was run every month or quarter or whatever it was. And, we were stood there and we're like, we liked the idea, bringing people together, but it just didn't feel like our crowd, and it didn't attract the people that we were super interested in. With a few people outside of that, I think that, that have stayed with our group actually. And I think we kind of had this joking conversation about, so what would we do if we had a sex club or an event, or how would we run it? And to a certain extent, we've kind of fulfilled some of that fantasy by creating the events, doing the takeovers and doing the social events. And part of that, we've tried to take what we've learned from other things and do it with our spin on it. With our spin on it, whether that's with the Discord chats, whether that's with the badges. The badges, I love the badges. They're crazy. But, all that sort of stuff, the little gifts, all kind of...
I want this to continue.
Yeah.
I want us to carry on hosting events. I think people enjoy them. And I think they're a great way of us showcasing all the positive aspects of how this can be done well.
Yep.
Like the whole thing. So I want us to carry on doing that because I think we get a lot out of it. And I think the people that we bring together get a lot out of it. So yes, that's definitely still in my head for it will continue next year.
Yeah, I think, I'd like to look at seeing if there's any way we can do some interesting stuff around spreading the good word. To see if we can get the message out there a bit about the lifestyle and show it in a positive light. And, I'm not saying by any stretch that we are the be all and end all of the good stuff that's out there. But I think there's more that we can do to really highlight how this can be really beneficial to your relationship, how it can bring you closer together, and how it can be a really exciting thing that you can share with your partner or by yourself, if you're by yourself. And I think we're looking for opportunities to do that. And we know that we've got some stuff on the cards that will help us do that. But also it's a case of just spotting the opportunities when they come around and being involved in the right projects and things like that. So I think there's an involvement of the show in terms of, how do we keep this up? Because I think we could talk about our adventures all the time and add some sexy bits into it too. And I think that's fun. But also I'd like to get some more interesting guests and people to talk to and share their facets of life. And, we've been trying to sort out an interview with one friend of ours for a little while, and hopefully we'll get that locked down and share with you the sort of insights that we get because we're friends with some of these people and bring other experts in just to talk about stuff that might be of interest. I think I'd like to evolve the show in that way. In terms of evolving us, I think they say we're always growing and learning from this, and sometimes it goes really well, sometimes it doesn't, and it's how we adapt to make sure that shit doesn't happen again. I think generally speaking, looking back at the year, we've become more confident, or we had done until we had a couple of hiccups, I think. And I think that threw our confidence a little bit in terms of it
makes you question, should you be doing it if you keep encountering things?
Yeah, and I think it's only really been one or two little minor bumps when we look at it. And I think, before then, the biggest issue was that you kept disappearing because you were poorly. Yeah. And I think that's something that we've not had the practice of being in these environments without the risk of you being poorly constantly at our shoulders. And now that we don't have that so much, we're a little bit out of practice. So I think there is a reality to the fact that we do need to go out a bit and get into that swing of things. But also I think we're very fortunate in that because we do the events and because we do various other things and takeovers, that actually, you know, we turn up and we've got a group of people that we love and that tend to be listeners and tend to be people who are aligned with our point of view. So it'd be interesting to go to clubs or a few clubs and sort of explore that without that group with us. In fact, Halloween was a bit of that. Although,
a little bit, yeah.
Although there was our group, it was very much not our event.
Yeah.
And that made it feel a little bit different. So it would be interesting to go to a couple of places and sort of just rock up and just to see how it goes.
Without the lens of a show kind of shaping the way it is.
I think without the lens of having a group with us. But that said, I always have so much fun when we go there
if
with...
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, so there
you
is
don't
that.
need to reinvent the wheel because if we're having fun, then do more of that.
Yes, do that. Take even more people with us. Show up with 1,000 people. I shall bring the people to the mountain.
Bring your naked dance troupe.
Yeah, my naked dance troupe, wherever they've gone, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's just that sort of stuff and just thinking about how can we approach this in fun ways and how can we make sure that, because I think we are growing and we were becoming more confident and we kind of have a couple of setbacks, but I think actually it won't take long for us to get into the space where we were and go back to a point where we can, I don't think we were changing massively, but it did feel as though we were evolving a little bit. Maybe we just slowed that process down a bit.
Maybe.
How we're evolving, I have no idea. Maybe I'll turn into some sort of Raichu by the end of this. I'm not sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at me dropping poker names.
Interesting.
I think her pants just got a little bit wetter there, folks.
Oh, my God.
She pissed herself with excitement.
Oh.
So the final question.
Yes.
Presumably it's the final question unless you chuck any more in at the end because, you know.
Because I do that.
So which clubs do we want to visit next year? Because I think there's a plethora of places that we've not been to.
Lots we haven't been to.
That I'm really keen to find and explore and visit. And whether that's by ourselves, as I said, or with some friends, I think. Because we did go to Penthouse Playrooms with friends. And I think, you know, just a couple of friends. And that was a really great experience, issue aside. But as going to the venue and
going with
exploring
people
it.
you know, I think is great. It really is, and you're guaranteed to have a good night. I think because you're with people you want to be with. Yeah,
so I'm keen to have a look at the Swindon one. I think that would be interesting. And also, what is it, Monkey Business or whatever the hell it's called?
Essex
Way. You know, I wouldn't mind exploring there, taking a look at that.
So I mean, would you avoid clubs that you already have a predisposed opinion of that you consider to be not as good? Are you only going to seek out the clubs that you've heard good things about? Or
I think my want is to explore the ones that I'm interested in first. But actually, I think in the course of the year, it would be good to go and check out some of the other ones that we've just not visited. And it was interesting going to Le Boudoir because I think, you know, we went there again for the first time this year to the, let's say, new venue, but it's been there probably a little while now. And it was really cool to go back and take in the atmosphere that was there and see how it changed. So I'm not against going to places that we've been to before or that I don't have a particularly good opinion of. But at the same point, there are ones that I want to go to first. And I think those couple that I mentioned are probably the first couple that are on my list. Pleasures, is that another one? I don't know. Is that one that people go to?
I think that is in Kent, from memory.
Yeah,
yes, Pleasure. I keep hearing Pleasures crop up as a concept we should possibly explore. I'd like to go. Yeah,
so I'd be really interested to, you know, for people to you know, shout out their favourite
clubs.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, I think, because we've been chatting with a couple who went to VA, and you know their experience wasn't the same as ours, and it felt very different. And I'm always intrigued to hear how people kind of get behind these things and what the clubs are like. And you know, in fact, on New Year's Eve, we'll be checking out a club in a different country.
Well, I was just going to say, we are going to be fortunate enough to experience a club in Holland.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be really exciting just to see how different it is in different parts of Europe. And yeah, I'm excited about that.
You know, and I think Actually, it's probably remiss of me, although it technically it's this year rather than next year.
On the cusp.
It's on the cusp, but that is one of the things I'm really
It will be in both
to.
this year and next year.
Yeah, it will be in both. Yeah, for the first half of the day, it will be this year, and the rest of it will be next year. So
it deserves its own mention,
its own special category. What events are you looking forward to, or what things that you're doing that happen both this year and next year? Well, I shall tell you for why. It is this event.
I am looking forward to going to that club, though. I've heard that the couple of clubs I have heard of in Holland are really good, so I'm interested to see what we make of those.
Yeah, I think so. I'm really looking forward to just hanging around with Kate and Daryl and seeing Penny again.
Don't tell me you're buying a new outfit for this. You don't don't need one.
We'll see.
You don't need one.
We'll see. Yeah.
Wait, you can either have a new Transformer or a new outfit.
Well, I've already got new Transformers on the order, so I'll get a new outfit as well.
What a surprise. No doubt you pre-ordered it 6 months ago.
I think it was about 3 months ago for this one. However, that aside, so I'm really looking forward to hanging with them and seeing Penny again. I think that's going to be really fabulous.
Yeah.
But going back in terms of clubs that we want to see. So yeah, I'm excited to check out some different clubs. There may be the opportunity to do that when we go to Miami as well. And also just kind of, I remember a few years ago we toured the sort of UK a little bit every other weekend and kind of went and stayed at different clubs or visited different clubs. And that was really cool. So I'd like to get some in the cards. And we are constantly harangued for not going further north. So maybe this is an opportunity.
That is very true. I would like to explore a bit more of our country and go and see what's on offer up and down the country. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going back to Newport.
Oh no.
Nothing against Newport, but I'm not going back there.
Okay,
it's fine.
That's fine.
That's off the list.
There's plenty of places we can make a list and tackle them.
Cool. But what I'd really like is, as you, gentle listener, please write to us and let us know what your favourite club is, whether we should check it out and why we should check it out. I always love it's a bit like when people go to Desire and then they hear about hedonism, or when they go to hedonism and find about Desire, where they've been originally seems to be this place that they staunchly defend like some sort of cult. And I'm kind of really curious to see what are the clubs that people are firmly behind, which ones are the best. And often it's people's local club because they develop the friendships and the atmosphere and they get used to what's there and they rarely go to other ones. So I really want to hear about different clubs, explore different venues and see what we can find in the new year.
I mean, would you ever consider Capdagged?
Yeah, I would. I think I would want a guide because I think my French stopped when I was, I think, 15 or 16.
Maybe someone who's been there before and knows the layout a bit and can navigate you through it. Yeah,
I think there's that. Someone that's kind of gone through it a bit and has that experience and can take us through without too many issues. I think that would support us a lot. I'm kind of, it sounds hectic and busy, but I think we've got pretty good at navigating, and it's only saying no, or removing a hand. So it's not the end of the world, I'm sure. But I think we'd have to have plenty of conversations before we went there and to just kind of make sure that we were on the right page, because I think that sort of heavy environment could be tricky for us to navigate. It's not our we don't have a natural home in that space.
No, I agree.
Because we don't, like you said earlier, Mrs. H, we don't spend any time in like an orgy room or with bodies heaving all over the place. But essentially, that's what Capdagged is.
Yes.
To certain parties.
I get that, but also I think it could be an interesting experience to go and see a big kind of area where it's kind of solely devoted to this this lifestyle activity stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think, and I don't feel, I think a couple of years ago I'd have probably been a little bit scared of it and a little bit kind of, I'm not sure about this. But I think now I'm relatively confident. I think we're in a pretty good space, but I think we're also pretty good and adept at navigating any issues. So I think it would be a good one to see.
What do you think for cruises?
I don't think we got the money for it. Bluntly, I think.
And just like that, we're not going to do them.
Well, I think.
No, I just wonder what you thought of them as maybe a lifestyle holiday concept.
I'm inherently against cruises in general. It just doesn't appeal to me.
So they're not something on your list you would want to explore.
Okay, so if you were to say, we're going on or I'd like to go on a cruise, just a normal, regular,
right?
Whatever they're called, Carnival,
a cruise
down the road. I'd be like,
cruise down the road.
Yeah, fuck that. I think it's the same reaction that you would have to Butlins, I suspect.
Or camping.
Or camping, yeah. Let's see, that would be, it's not my thing.
No.
But
No.
if you add the word swinger in front of it or after it, I'm sort of slightly more inclined to go, okay, maybe. And it sounds like absolute fun and a blast and all this sort of stuff. But I'm still at the back of my head going, it's on a fucking boat and you can't go anywhere. And
You like I'm on a boat.
I like the song, yeah.
And you could sing that all the way through the holiday.
Yeah, all the way through. It's the only way you'll get my voice to stop, I suspect. But I genuinely, I like the idea, but it sounds, and I think also desire and temptations and hedonism all sound way out of our budget at the moment. And I think, with PCAP on the list, and with a number of other activities throughout the year, and even just touring our own country, I suspect we don't really want to eat more into our funds given the
And that's the thing. I think all these things that we've talked about, they all have a cost. And, things are more expensive than they used to be. And, cost and lifestyle has always been something that we've kind of been really cognizant of. And you either do like a bunch of lots of things and keep costs relatively low, or you chuck it all at one or two big massive things and
I think
go all out.
Yeah, and I think that after the experience of PCAP, I think we wanted to go back next year, but also the convenience of it being in Miami means that it's close to, or relatively close to Orlando, so we can do some theme parks, and we know people that live in the area, so that's cool as well. So I think, there was a usefulness to where it was being placed, but in terms of other stuff that, like the cruises, if someone said, here's a free couple of tickets to a swingers cruise, here you go, absolutely.
All over it, yeah.
But to spend like not just a percentage, but a large percentage of our income on that is very difficult. And I think I'm really, really cognizant that we need to be fairly mindful of our spending for a while, because we had quite an expensive year. I mean, we've had trips to Amsterdam and
all these things cost so much money. Yeah. I know.
And it's not so bad if you're going just across the UK, because normally you can drive there. Normally it's like a hotel that's like less than 100 quid, and normally the club costs. So it's, and even that is a privilege to be able to do it. But at least that cost isn't thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
It's like a couple of, like within a course of a month, we can afford it. We're lucky, but we couldn't do that every weekend.
Oh God, no.
So I think there is a balance to be had, but also I do love the little day trips and the little adventures, and the low cost things can be as fun as the other things.
Plus, if you're going to buy an outfit every time.
Yeah, well, I didn't say I was going to spend a lot on material. But yeah, I think the cruises would be lovely to do. Although I don't particularly like cruises, or the idea of I've never been on a cruise. I've just been on big boats. In fact, I remember when as a teenager, I had a week of cleaning the cruise ships as a job.
You
know
did?
this?
No.
Yeah, okay. So I did it for like a week, and I fucking hated it.
Oh my God!
It was just horrible. Like, just cleaning, one, was not my forte, and two, being on a boat, I was like, well, okay. And people were just dicks about how they left the state of their room. So it's probably a swinger cruise. That's why there were like condoms just sliding down the walls. Anyway, so I don't have a massive fondness for cruises in general, but I'm sure if someone were to stump some cash up to me and say, there you go,
you'd give it a go.
Yeah, I tell you, it's really interesting. I think, I see lots of people trying to raise funds in various different ways. And, I don't want to commercialize the podcast or the events any more than we have done. So, we have a very small Patreon, so you're welcome to join us, and we have a chat, and we release episodes early, and we try and do what we can to give back. But, it's not a money earner by any stretch of the imagination. It covers like some costs of hosting.
Yeah, exactly.
And occasional treats.
Not enough for a cruise.
Not enough for a cruise. And, I can't see us going into the world of OnlyFans or anything like that. Nothing against it, but it just wouldn't be for us. So I think realistically, we're just going to have to be mindful of our spending.
I agree.
Which is probably a good thing.
But the good thing is with, all the people that we know and love and have fun with, doesn't have to cost the earth.
No.
And that's one of the best things about knowing all these amazing people. You could just jump in a car and go and hang out and do relatively inexpensive things. And
I'm going to do some relatively inexperienced things.
And still have a great time. Yeah. And that's truly one of the best bits about all this, that you can just go and hang out and not have to shell out loads of money to go and pay for a good time kind of thing. That's something quite different.
I think you've gone down an avenue
You know
there.
what I
Let's
mean.
pull out.
You don't have to spend a lot of money with great people to have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some connotations in there that are sitting uncomfortably with many people right now.
No.
So moving swiftly onwards, we just want to say a huge thank you for joining us, for listening to us, for supporting us. If you're a member of our Patreon, thank you. We're humbled that someone gives us a little bit of cash just to help us.
Make this.
Yeah, just to make this and to pay for the equipment and stuff. Thank you so much. Hopefully we've entertained you and kept you away from the family, if that's your thing, for Christmas and filled in some of the blanks where you're just in that, what do you call it, the period between Christmas?
The undercarriage of Christmas.
There we go, the undercarriage of Christmas.
A weird 3 days where everyone just sits around and eats too much and just doesn't really know what to do.
Exactly. So, hopefully we've got a very exciting 2023 ahead of us.
Yeah.
Or in fact, end of 22, hopefully as well. And, we wish you the very, very best. A very Merry Christmas if that's your jam. Happy holiday if it's not, but an exceptionally Happy New Year to everybody. Unless you follow some other sort of calendar, in which case I have no idea how to deal with that. We'll just have to, wish you...
Happy first day of your new year.
Well, it might not be the new year. Depends when the new year kicks in. So, in April, we'll wish them a happy new financial year.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Happy tax breaks, everybody. No, but genuinely, thank you so much for sticking with us. We're going to try and do some stuff for video-wise for Christmas. But we're so short on time. So if it works, great. Look out for it on YouTube. If it doesn't, then we're very sorry. We failed you as human beings, and we beg of your forgiveness. Is that fair?
Yeah.
That fair? Anything to add, Mrs. H?
No.
All right, do your thing.
Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.